Hey, what's up, everyone? How you doing? Thanks a lot for joining us again for the third day in a row of our 10-day Google Hangout-a-thon. And Yafat's going to be joining us in just 2 seconds. She had to restart her computer because of technical problems. You have this stuff when you do live stuff, right? So we wanted to make it as smooth as possible. So I decided I would come on and introduce. I'm going to play Yafat. I don't have glasses, but I can fake it, and I'll just say today we're going to have Jon Benson talk, and he's really cool. I'm not as good as she is, obviously, but today we're going to talk about traffic and how you can get free traffic. I'm going to give you my best tips for getting free traffic. It's not, again, everything you'll hear me say is it's work. It's going to take work to do this, but it is free traffic, and I've built lists of 40,000 plus using one of the strategies I'll cover today. Now, a second thing I want to say is you may not be able to hear it, but we're in California, and I don't know if you know about the Santa Ana winds or not, but they are kicked up like crazy today. We're getting 60, 70-mile-an-hour gusts outside our home. So in case you see wind going crazy back in the background, that's what's going on. So if the door blows open, I'll have to get up and shut it, that kind of thing. So hopefully none of that will happen, and we're all going to be for smooth sailing. So we're just waiting on Yafat to join us, and we're going to take some of your questions first. Actually, we're going to read some comments, and then I'll address the questions before we dive into today's Hangout. And just so you know, today I'm actually going to go step by step down the worksheet. Yesterday I kind of skipped around a little bit, and everybody was going, "Hey, what was that middle thing he said?" So we're going to be a little bit more cautious with that. But so here's what we're going to cover, just kind of in encapsulation here. We're going to cover the best way that I know to build a list starting from scratch. It's a really cool technique. I've used it twice. I built a 40,000 person list from it, and I built a 10,000 list from it. It depends on you'll see what I mean, but it depends on the key player involved is going to be dependent upon how big the list is. Now, that's traffic in a sense that you have a list now that you can mail to. So traffic, it comes from multiple varieties. There's paid traffic. That's the most expensive, the most dangerous form of traffic. You have to have an offer that converts. Paid traffic is all about your sales page. If your sales page and upsell funnel converts, great, you can buy traffic. If not, you will waste your money and you will go broke. So please don't mess around with that unless you have a product like Accelerator to help you, or you're a kick-ass copywriter or have one. Really don't mess with that. Then there's free traffic. Social media stuff, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, can send traffic to your particular blog, website, sales page, whatever it may be. In free traffic cases, you really want to focus on giving a lot of value as you put the links into the whatever it may be, Facebook, etc. You don't want to send people directly to a sales page with a Facebook post. That's not usually a good idea. Facebook ads, yes. Facebook posts, no. It's just not enough rapport building to get going on. And then there's the way that I like to do traffic, which is list building, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, all three are very, very applicable to what you want to do. All three require different skill sets, but the third one I have done really, really well with, so that's what we're going to talk about. I think Yafat's now ready to join us. I hope. I see her pretty face down below. I don't know if that means anything. There she is. So how are you, Yafat? Are you
Hey,
with us?
awesome opening, John. Really, really cool.
Awesome.
Um,
Yeah.
so, hi guys, welcome to day 3 of the Accelerator. I'm excited about traffic because I think the biggest challenge that many people have is they say, well, this is a good product. I have a great sales letter. Now what? So today is going to be amazing. A few things before we get started. First of all, we really appreciate your engagement, your sharing. We love that you're loving the
Okay, just in case, we figure this might happen. Yufat's having terrible internet problems where she's at, so in case she drops off, we're going to. Don't worry, I will
program
take care
again.
of it all. Okay, so she's getting a little bit of lag on the screen too. If you guys notice that, like, make a comment, say something, because I noticed the lag on the screen. But if maybe you don't, maybe it's just me. But if you do, just bear with us. It's going to be okay. Just listen. If you close your eyes, I know it's hard to do when you look at Yufat, but close your eyes. Don't look at her. And just listen. All right, go for it. Let's try again.
Okay, so let's try it again. I know they were updating Chrome, so this might be the reason. So okay, back to the thing. So we really appreciate your engagement. We want to see more and more of it, and we really want to get your questions. If you have any questions about traffic, today's the day to jump into the Hangout and share and ask anything that you want. So the format will be the same as yesterday. We are going to teach you, train you, then activate the button below this video that says join the Hangout. Click on that if you have a question. And to incentivize you to come up with really, really good questions and engagement, those with the best questions and comments today will be gifted a product that I trained David Seidman Garland, I don't know if you guys know him, about 6 ways to monetize Hangouts. Now that you see how Hangouts are working, today it's a very bad example, but now that you've seen them, how can you use them to make money? So John is going to teach you how to get traffic, and that product can help you also monetize them. So let's dive in. John, your turn.
All right, thanks, Shafat, and welcome again, everybody. Thanks for joining me on a Saturday. I was gonna go T-shirt, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna keep it consistent. Wear the jacket. Truth is, I never wear a jacket. I never hardly ever wear shirts. I work in my boxer shorts, so that's the truth of the matter. But I don't think you guys would appreciate that. Some would, but some wouldn't. So I donned a jacket to look professional, and that's the greatest thing about doing what I do and doing what you guys either do or want to do is that, man, you set your own hours, you work your own, you set your own attire, you do whatever you want. And my dream for everyone, I was telling this to one of my best friends, John, when he was staying with a couple days ago, I said, my dream for you is to have a laptop business where you just take your laptop with you wherever you go. Mine's a laptop, it's a MacBook Air, so it's like literally feather light. And I just go wherever. And very rarely do I need what I've got here, a 3-monitor setup with a camera, etc. This is a very rare time when I do need that. So that's what I would love for you guys to experience. And actually, the key to that, sorry?
Oh, I actually wanted to share something because this is so important. I think that we got a question yesterday, and I think a lot of people are having the same type of reaction. We're watching you. You are an expert. You're telling us about a lifestyle that's possible. Mm-hmm. And many people don't yet see themselves in that lifestyle. And so one of the questions that we got yesterday was about they're missing the confidence. And I know we're going to get that there in the next 5 days where you're really going to show them how they can get similar results. But can we just talk about what is it, like the process that you get to gain the confidence? I know we are appearing here as the experts, the gurus. People are watching us thinking, yeah, that's them, not us. How can we help them bridge that a little bit?
Sure. Let me answer that in a couple of ways. Something I heard a long time ago, Tony Robbins made this distinction. He said, how long would you give your child to learn to walk? Would you give him a day, a week? No, it's been a week, man. Give up on you. You'll never walk. So a child builds confidence in walking by falling down. So that's if you're in a process right now of falling down, you're actually, as long as you're putting one foot in front of the other, you're on the right path. That's the thing is that we've just either been walking the path longer or we just got lucky. And there is a luck component involved. For myself, when it comes down to some of the stuff we're talking about today, and certainly when it comes down to copywriting, there was no luck involved. It was just a lot of hard work. So, but as far as some people just get lucky. They come up with some app and it makes $1 billion. That's not what I'm trying to tell you guys to do or talk to you about. I'm coming from a position of a guy that did start from no experience whatsoever online and managed to build the business that he has. So I do know what it feels like to start from nothing, and I do know the importance of networking because that's what got me started. I do know the importance of delivering really awesome content because that's what attracted me to the first networking partner I had that got me started. So all the stuff that we've covered so far before. But I do want to press upon you this one thing. Just because I'm an expert at what I do does not mean that you need to be an expert at what I do. Okay? That's not what I'm engaging you guys' brain to wrap around. I'm not trying to go that direction. What I'm saying is pick the parts that are necessary, and I'm laying them out for you, and master those parts. Confidence comes when you master small things and you build upon those small things to get greater and greater and greater successes. So it doesn't come by saying, wow, I just wrote my first sales page and I made $1 million. That rarely happens. It does happen. We've got testimonials from Accelerator members that have done just that, but those are the rare exceptions, simply because it just doesn't happen that much. What does usually happen is I wrote my first sales page, I started seeing some income, and I'm going to redo a couple of things at the very first. Wow, it's getting better, and I ask for advice from other people that are going through the same thing, and they improve on it some more, and the next thing you know, they've got a thriving business. Now that's something that's very reasonable. Isn't that? I don't think that's an unreasonable proposition. So
I
if
actually
you're,
like that,
yeah,
because you are taking away the get-rich-quick schemes, where it's mostly smoke and mirrors. You're actually giving the real thing proof that it works if you do it the same way that you're telling them to do it.
I don't think that I've ever used the term "get rich quick," except to say that anyone that uses that term is an idiot. Is it possible? Like I said, yeah, there's some guy that invented some app that got sold for $1 billion. Sure, it's possible. Is that what you want to put your money in? Think of this as like the stock market. If you see those rogue stocks that start off at 10 cents and shoot up to $30, and you put all your money into that one stock, and presto, you become a millionaire. Is that a good investment strategy? No, it's not a good investment strategy. Certainly not. The stuff we're talking about today is good online investment strategies, if you will. Things that work, consistently work, if you just do the effort, do the work, put one foot in front of the other. And I keep coming back to this, man. You have to have mentors, people who have done it, people who've been there before you. Not only people who have been there before you, but people who are in the same place. And that's the community that I built, is that I went to a community full of marketers who were on all different levels, but also with leaders who have actually done it. That didn't just, in other words, they're the guys that made $1 million by writing an ad in a newspaper and saying, I'll tell you how to make $1 million by writing an ad in a newspaper, send me $1. And they send them back, here's how you do it, put an ad in a newspaper and ask people for, you know what I mean, Yafat? That just doesn't, have you ever seen, so that's not the cycle we're going under. That's why I'm really, really proud to say that I was a millionaire before I ever created any internet marketing products whatsoever. And that's pretty rare for internet marketers to say. Very well, I know a few, and the ones that I know that have done that are the guys that I listen to myself. So I think you're in good company, and I'm not the only guy you should listen to by any stretch of the imagination. I'm big fans of a lot of guys out there that have really ethical, really awesome messages. And I'm happy to tell you who they are and say this is who I listen to and what you should do. So all of this is meant to do one thing. Let's instill some confidence by getting your first success. I mean, that's really what we do. I'm an ex-football player. I'm a huge football fan. So when a football team is struggling, the coach is really like, look, let's just kick a freaking field goal. Anything to get 3 points on the board. Let's get some momentum going. And if pro athletes do this, don't you think it's reasonable that you should do this? And part of what we're going to talk about is doing just that. Let's see if we can get anything going. Build a small list. Sell a $7 product. Something where you can go, whoa, I did that. So it stands to reason that if you can sell a $7 product, why can't you sell a $47 product? And if you can sell a $7 product to 10 people, why can't you sell it to 100 people?
Yep.
The only difference there is time scale or math, right? That's the only, right? You thought?
Yeah.
So that's really it. That's really it.
I heard that it takes the same effort to sell a $7 product and a $700 product, and it's all in the mindset of, can I sell anything online? And once you do, you gain your confidence, and you're like, oh yeah, I can do that, and oh yeah, I can do that, and then it's just like you said, it's a question of numbers and techniques, which I love. That this is what we're talking about today.
Yeah. Yeah, and I found it to be far easier to sell very expensive products once you have a list that trusts you. They've bought a $700, $2,000, whatever it is, dollar product, and then you can say, hey, I'm having a $30,000 mastermind, and people are more open to say that. And that's an easy sale to make. That's it's I have a mastermind, and it's $30,000 to join. And the reason why is we only let 25 people in, and we invite them into our home multiple times a year. I mean, that's a very, very intensely private thing. We want people to experience what it's actually like to live this lifestyle, and also our home is just beautiful. It's got great energy to it. My wife is just a phenomenal marketer and a phenomenal host, so that kind of stuff. But the point is that you can sell that by literally getting on a phone call for 15 minutes. Now you can't sell a $7 ebook doing that. That's the irony is. So the irony is that you need killer sales copy to sell a $7 ebook. But after you do that, everything can stop. And I just use $7 ebook as an example, a small dollar product or service. And after that, the things can start rolling in. So, I know that you had a couple of questions and comments before I dive into the detail. Is that right?
No, I think you answered the main one. Let's dive into traffic, and then guys, we will take your questions. So type them away. Any question about traffic? Let's go.
Okay, awesome. Well, okay, if you look at your outline, I've got the fastest ways to get more traffic, and I have number one, create anything that is high value for your niche and design it around sites or people that already have traffic. It sounds like a no-brainer, and it is a no-brainer, but this is what I did to build that 40,000 member list and that 10,000 member list. So let me elaborate on what I mean. Every one of you listening to me right now has a unique selling proposition or position, if you want, that you can say to somebody, I have a unique way of approaching blank. Now, for the sake of the conversation today, let's say blank is dog training. We can just make this up, right? I have a unique way of training dogs. I get dogs to I get dogs to do headstands. I don't know. You can say whatever it may be. You have some unique thing. So you can go to a high traffic guy. It's got a high volume. It's very easy to find these sites, by the way. Just go to a Google AdWords search term and look at the sites that are getting the most traffic. Go to Alexa.com. You can find the sites that get the most traffic fairly easily. And when you go to those sites, you can literally, it's not too difficult to meet the owners. You send support. You say, hey, I've got a product that your customers would want. I'd love to give it to you for free. And if that doesn't work, what I do is I go the extra mile. I will go to a conference that I know there's marketing conferences that where these people would hang out. And you don't even have to buy tickets to the conference. Just book the same hotel. Now, this is a very ninja, under-the-radar kind of tactic, right? I book the same hotel, and I go hang out in the bars, hang out in the outside lobbies. I don't crash the event because that's uncool. But I just press palms and meet people. And eventually you'll meet somebody, it'll say, well, what do you do? You say, well, I'm into, in this case, dog training, and I've got a really unique gift that I really want to give somebody that really cares about their customer. I want to give it to them for free. You're going to get somebody's attention and go, well, hey, wait, that's a great way for me to save a sale. Like, for example, this is how you would approach it. Look, if you're getting refunds right now, would you like a product that would help you save your sales? It costs you nothing. Or would you like an extra bonus to add to your sales page that can maybe close more sales, and it will cost you nothing? And here's how you do it. What you do is you create a very simple product that is unique to you, but does not compete with them. So let's say they have a dog training product, and then you say, yeah, here's a way to train dogs that's totally different than yours. Well, that's not going to work at all. But if you make a product that's very complementary, for example, like after your dog is trained, what should you do to, continue the process? Maybe he doesn't have that. Or here's some really cool things that make his dog training process even easier. So look at this guy's site and go, yeah, I get what he's doing, even buy his product and say, here's how I can improve it. Here's how I can do something he hasn't talked about yet. That's the most cutting edge way to do this. So you come to this person or persons with, look, I've got this ready for you. It's a 10-page thing. I will give it to you for free. All I ask is that you send them to my website to get it. So when someone purchases that guy's product or that girl's product and they go to their delivery page, they'll have a link on the page that says, hey, get that special bonus, fill in the blank, whatever the title is. They click that page. They go to your website to get it. And what I've done for affiliates that don't want to give up their lists is I'll say I won't even make them opt in to get it. I will just give it to them right there on that page. And then underneath that page, I'll say, get more training tips from me if you enter in your name and email. And nice. With that tip, I've gotten about 25% to opt in and give it to me. So what I would do is target a high volume guy, or guys and girls, by the way, I say guys because I'm from the north. And so, so when I say guys, it means everybody. And then you target that, you design something around them. It's a very, very stealth technique, and it doesn't take a long time. So what I did, I'll just give you the exact thing I did. I created this, I told you about it yesterday. It was a total flop. It was a total flop because I did not do the research. But people in the industry loved it. It was a series of audios called Empower, and there were 48 of them. And so what I decided to do is I took the best 4, and I put there were actually the first 4. And I said to a buddy of mine who has an extremely high traffic site, hey, Mike, I got an idea for you. I'll give this to you as a bonus if you'll send them over to my website. And originally we had him opting in to get it. That's even better. If they'll do that, by all means, take that. But if they won't do that, and he basically came back to me and said, dude, I don't want them opting in because I just don't want to piss off my customers. So I said, okay, great. I'll just put it on the page and leave an optional opt-in there for them. And even if that didn't work, I'd say, okay, I'll put them on the page with no opt-in at all, and then when they window out, I'll say, hey, would you like my free special report? So I'll get an opt-in one way or the other. And that ended up getting me a list of 40,000 new customers. Now, what do you think you could do with a list of 40,000 new customers? Let me give you an idea. A buyer's list, someone that has bought something prior in your market, has got a value on it around, this is a guesstimate, around $1 per person per month. So if you had a 40,000 member list, the value to you would be around $40,000 if you knew a month, if you knew how to optimize it. How's that?
So John, you just said, okay, what you said here is such a mind shift, because a lot of people are thinking from the me, what do I gain first, and your strategy is how do I help someone else by gifting something that their list needs first, and I give it to them for free. I'm not selling it to them, I'm not trying to do anything, and I'm not even getting the opt-in right away if they don't want to, but I'm showing value before I ask for anything back. And this is very, very unique to the internet marketing, where it's, you know, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff.
Yeah.
So I love it, and you're right, and that works, because first they're getting the first impression of you is how generous, knowledgeable, and trustworthy you are.
Exactly. And affiliates, the last thing that they want to hear is, hey, would you promote my stuff? Okay, right. Here's the really super uber ninja fringe benefit of that tactic. And by the way, I'm going to go through and fill in those blanks for you in just a moment, because we just filled out like literally the first three, and I just talked off the cuff. But the ninja tactic is this: if that guy or girl will send traffic to your page and people love your product, what do you think the odds are of them sending traffic to your sales page as well as an affiliate? Think it goes up a little bit? See, this is a fantastic way to build your business, and it just takes a little bit of elbow grease. Now, there are tons and tons of websites out there that dominate any niche, any market. They're not difficult to find. One way to do that is to go to clickbank.com. This is just one way, and look at the ClickBank marketplace. Go into the marketplace and just look at Gravity. Look under Gravity, or just look under Popular. Okay, what's the most popular product? You can narrow it down to whatever niche you want. And you can find the 5 most popular products, and you just send emails to customer support. You just say, hey, I've got a proposition. I would like to give the owner of this product a free gift that would help his customers stick around, or they can add it as a bonus. And if you do your homework right and you can talk knowledgeably about their product, don't even mention your stuff. Just say, I saw your stuff and I fell in love with it so much, I just had to write this companion piece, and I'd just like to give it to you. And all I ask is that you do this. And you'll find somebody that will eventually do that. I know that I would if it was a good product. It has to be a good product. It has to be something that's unique. In other words, if someone came to me and said, hey, I've got a 5-video course on how to write a video sales letter, do you think I'm going to take that? No, because I've got that covered. That's covered. However, a good friend of mine, and when I say good friend of mine, he didn't have to be a good friend of mine. He was a total stranger. He's a good friend of mine now, but he was a total stranger 6 months ago. So 6 months ago, I met this guy out of nowhere, right? And now, because he's just been talking to me, that's the way people are, right? You like this person, you like this person. He said, hey, listen, I'm doing this free workshop on how to bookend the research component of a video sales letter or a sales page, because I've got a way to research and to edit. So it's the bookends, it's the alpha and the omega, which is what I came up with. It's kind of the alpha and the omega of copywriting. And I'm going to give this workshop for free, and I'd like to just give it to your customers. And I said, are you kidding? That's so valuable. Let's sell it to my customers, and I'll split the profit with you. So he got a much better deal than he was ever dreaming about. Yeah. It's only because he came to me and said, listen, this is so high value, and I'll just give it to you. He gave it to a big copywriting group that's on Facebook, and people just went ape over it, man. They totally loved it. So this tactic works. It does work, and at some point, somebody out there may be thinking, well, I'm not confident enough to actually make that product. Well, yes, you can be. I promise. Just sit down with a group of your friends and say, hey, when it comes to blank, what's the most unique thing that I say? When it comes to blank, when I talk about blank, because you have to have a passion for something, obviously. When I talk about blank, something you're passionate about, what goes off in your head? What triggers you to go, I should listen to that? Or what motivates you? What inspires you? What should I improve on? Get feedback from people that you know, and then just take that feedback and go, man, if everyone says like 3 or 4 things that's kind of consistent, this is where you should go with your product, and this is where you should go with your bonus. And just make sure that it doesn't cross over the line to where this person says, well, you're selling a competitive product and I don't really want to do that. There's complementary products and competitive products. Now, but the last thing I'll say on this, and I'm going to fill in these blanks, don't be too concerned by the fact that you might have a competitive product as your main product. All of us in the weight loss industry promote each other's products if we believe in them. I've promoted numerous other diet products because I don't believe one diet solution fits everyone's needs. So if someone comes up with a clever way of dieting, there's no reason why you shouldn't promote it. And don't have a fear complex going, oh, well, he already owns the diet space. No, there's no one that owns that. It's open territory, and there's many different opinions. And I think that people need to have multiple different opinions when it comes down to just about anything. Does that make sense, Yafat?
Yeah, I love that. The first thing that comes to mind is if I approach someone like yourself, for example, who is very much into, is very knowledgeable about the numbers, the list, and all that stuff. Might your first question be, how does your product convert before I send it to my list? Right. Or if I just bring it as a gift, you don't really care, it's just a gift.
Right. That takes away the conversion problem right off the bat and gives you the time it takes to go through a course like mine or another course that will help you get to the sales page that you really need to get to. So it's a fantastic way to do it. So if you look at the outline right here, which I'm looking over here because it's on my screen. So for number one, it's create anything that has high value for your niche and design it around sites that already have high traffic. That's where those blanks are. And number two is create the product as a bonus for a need. I just lost my that is not being met by whatever product is being offered, and then offer that as an exchange for opt-ins. And number three is very simple. Have a high is offer it to the list owner as a bonus in exchange for sending them to their people. Now, how do you find people? Number four, how do you find those people? We talked about first place you can go is clickbank.com. The best place the places that I tell people to go is live conventions. There's tons of them. Affiliate Summit West just ended last week. There were 3,500 product owners and affiliates there that have products in the internet marketing space. So just imagine walking around there and just the amount of people that you could meet. Just walk up and start talking to people. That's really all there is to it. If you're not a people person, then a great way to do that is to do it the way we were talking about. Go to clickbank.com, send an email to their support, and if you do it enough times, you'll eventually get someone to answer you. They'll say, well, let me take a look at it. And then when they say, by the way, let me take a look at it, and just say, I'll be happy to send it to you, but would you mind taking a 5-minute call? I'll call you in 5 minutes and go over it really briefly because I'm really here to help you sell more of your products. And then just if you can get more verbal, more face-to-face, the better. So that's really where it's at. Now that leads us to point number 5, and the last point today before we dive into your questions is, what is the ultimate secret to traffic? And I don't think the answer is going to surprise you if you've been here over the past few days. The answer to getting all your traffic needs met permanently is a absolutely high converting sales page. That's it. A high converting sales page solves all woes. The late great Gary Halbert said, there's not a problem in the world that cannot be solved with an effective sales page. So that's it. And I like the phrase, you're only one sales page away from true wealth. And that is absolutely the truth. That's not pie in the sky talk. That's not bullshit. That's not, someone trying to sell you something. That is the absolute truth. One sales page, for me, created absolute wealth. One. And of course, you go on from there and you build others. So I know this for personal fact that's what happens. And I know this because I see this happen all the time with my friends in the business. Now, the trick is getting that one converting sales page, right? Getting that high converting sales page, which is why I'm talking to you today, and which is why we have the product lines that we do, because that's what it's built around. Can I help the average business owner who is not a copywriter create a high converting sales page without paying a guy like me $100,000 to do it? Because that's what high-end copywriters charge. And really bad ones, really horrible copywriters will charge you $5,000. I mean, I wouldn't even spend it because it's like they're just not going to be. The odds of them being good are astronomical. Average copywriters are $10,000 to $20,000. B-list guys are $25,000 to $30,000, and the A-list guys are like $50,000 to $100,000. So the reason why that we can command that much money, and that's not. And that, by the way, we'll take a percentage of all your royalties for life. And the reason why we can is because you wouldn't be alive. You wouldn't on the line if you wouldn't be for the copy on your page. That's how important it is. Think of sales copy as the oxygen that your business breathes. That's really what it is. So it's not your product. I know that this is going to be the most hurtful thing you'll hear today. Your product doesn't matter. It doesn't. How good it is, I hate to say this. It doesn't matter when it comes to selling it. It matters to me. It does. It matters to me like you would not believe. My wife says I suffer from over-delivery-itis, which is like I tend to over-deliver to people, and I want my products to be so good that the people go, man, it's so good I can't even get through all of it, and the stuff that I've gotten through has already made me money. But there are crap products out there, a lot more of them than there are good products,
Yeah.
and they have great marketing. They have great sales copy. When I say marketing, I mean sales copy. So that's not the trap I'd like you to fall into. So if your product is good, believe you me, the most important thing you can do is feed it the oxygen it needs, which is sales copy. So Yafat, over to you for questions.
Yeah. So guys, first of all, the link to join the Hangout is now active. Refresh the page. You can click on that. Join us if you have any questions. Just to support what you said, I remember going to the theater and seeing an ad that says, without advertising, there's just nothing. Like, nobody comes to watch a movie, nobody buys a book, nobody, buys coffee. Like, if they don't put the ad or the marketing before you, you don't even know that you need this. And I'm a great example of Groupon. I'm a Groupaholic, and Groupon to me is the stuff you never knew you needed. So,
right.
And they just have like great marketing and great images, and it works every time. So I completely support everything that you say. It starts with the marketing and the sales and the words in them and the way you put that, and then the delivery of a great product.
Can I do one thing before we dive into questions? I want to give you one more tip that's not on the sheet. I will do this all the time, by the way, because again, over-delivery-itis, I do have that disease. And just write this down on the sheet. There's another great way to get free traffic. Okay, obviously, everyone listening to me has a YouTube account. We know that for a fact, right? I will wager that everyone listening and watching me right now has an iPhone or a smartphone of some sort, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So
even developing countries have them.
how difficult is it to do this, turn on your smartphone and go, hey, this is John. I just wanted to give you a quick tip on blank. Here's what I would recommend that you do, blank, 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 blank. And do that once a day for 30 days and upload it to your YouTube account. Not too difficult. People do that all the time. They get, 10 views, 100 views, whatever the case may be. Well, here's what's really interesting. That description box underneath YouTube is very much intertwined with Google. They're kind of married, YouTube and Google, as you know. As you thought would know more about this than even I do. But what we do on YouTube videos, not all the time, but when I really want to push something, is I will take the same copywriting strategies that I'm covering in days 6 through 10, 5 steps, and I will write a miniature sales page under every single one of those descriptions. Why not? You've got a captive audience for 5 minutes, and they're going to read the description. So the very first thing you'll want to see in that description, by the way, is a link to your sales page. Don't say, in this video today, we're going to be talking about blah, 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 blah. The very first thing you want to see is a link. That right there will change everything. Then you start talking about, today's video covers blah, 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 blah. But however, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you blank? So, for example, that's a great way to have a pattern interrupt, and you ask them something that they weren't thinking about. And then you go into the sales story, which we'll go into over days 6 through 10. That is a fantastic way. You don't have to write a whole long sales page, but like a mini sales page under every video that you have. You can just copy and paste it. Same sales page under every single video. If you put more and more videos up there, what are the odds of somebody eventually clicking on those links? They rise dramatically, right?
Yep.
So there you go. That is free traffic, man. That is completely free traffic.
And just so you know, it doesn't have to be professional, sexy, anything at all. The woman that makes the most money on YouTube is someone that my 5-year-old is addicted to, and she basically unboxes.
When was the last time you played?
So it's just there we go. It's just crazy. You don't have to be professional, like John was saying. Just turn on and do that for 30 days. Before we dive into the questions of the people here who are joining us, there is the first question that came up, John. Who were the mentors that helped you the most?
The mentors that helped me the most were not, as we talked about in day one, I'm kind of an anomaly when it came to copywriting. I didn't study any copywriter at all because when I created the video sales letter, it just kind of wrote itself. I don't know how to explain that, just to say that it just wrote itself, and I can't really tell you how that happened, but once it just popped into my head that, whoa, there's a structure here, and I started writing around that structure. And after that, I started looking at some of the copywriting grades, because I never even knew what copywriting was all about. I just knew that I needed a sales page. And so after that, I'm good friends with John Carlton. I like Gary Benzavenga. I love Breakthrough Advertising. Those are older books if you look at Breakthrough Advertising. You've got Eugene Schwartz, John Caples, Gary Makepeace. I can go down the line with great copywriters. And so I love to advise people to study great copywriters. That being said, I like to also dissect the letters that are working in the marketplace that I'm writing for. So getting those letters and getting some of their ideas and not ripping them off, that's really distasteful, but getting their ideas and the way that they tell their stories can be very advantageous for you to do that. Now, when it comes to marketing, that's a different story. Marketing and copywriting are two different things, really. When it comes to marketing, I have quite a few mentors: Dean Jackson, Joe Polish, Evan Pagan. I love those guys. Dean Graziosi, who's actually a real estate marketer. He's just a brilliant, brilliant marketer, probably one of the best marketers in the world, a good friend as well. And I could go down the line of people who I respect in this world. Ryan Dice, those are all great guys that market stuff. And for the most part, especially with Joe and Evan and Andy, they market products that are just so upscale. I mean, so really, really high quality. And they do it very effectively. So those are great guys to look out for. Now, I just so happen to list off guys that were all customers of mine. So I didn't ask John Carlton to buy Accelerator. He just did. And when by the way, I just have to tell the story because John Carlton became my copywriting hero. He is a legend, a total legend in the copywriting world. And he wrote some of the most famous ads that's ever been written. And he, you know, I just got turned on to him well after I created BSLs and started reading his copy, going, man, this guy just has a way about just pulling out this just really passionate bullet copy and really, really, really persuasive. He was just killing Madison Avenue. I mean, murdering Madison Avenue guys. Madison Avenue guys suck. I mean, I'll tell you that right now. We watch Mad Men, my wife and I, and I'll watch this and go, I wish that our job was that easy. It's just so painfully easy when I watch it, going, oh my God, those guys thought they were, and they still do. Madison Avenue still thinks they're brilliant. And most of them are just they couldn't sell water to a thirsty child. I mean, in my opinion, if they had to sell to cold, now they can create these great commercials that are catchy, that do very little, I think, for sales in the long, but they couldn't write direct response copy if they had to. Most of them. Now, the guys that at Madison Avenue who came from direct response, which is what we're talking about. In other words, you write something to get an immediate response. That's different. David Ogilvy and those guys were geniuses. But the direct response guys like John Carlton, he would just beat the crap out of Madison Avenue with these long sales letters inside magazines and no pictures and big red type, and yeah, it was ugly and brutally effective, which is what we talk about a lot. So when John Carlton was watching me speak at some event, I don't remember which event it was, and I was standing outside afterwards, ironically wearing the same exact shirt. I remember this. I don't know why I remember that. And he came outside, he comes up to me and he goes, God damn you. So I said, what? He goes, I just bought your course, man. You talked me into it. I hate it when people do that. And so I was like, and he's kind of grumpy, but it was funny. It's like, and so afterwards I got him on video, and he actually did say, yeah, you used your own persuasion techniques, and I bought it. What can I tell you? So having him buy a course that I wrote was pretty. That's probably the highlight of one of the highlights of my career. But shortly behind, having guys that start from nothing and say, wow, I now have a way to. I saved my house and stuff like that. That's much more meaningful on a deeper level. But anyway, that's a cool story about Jon.
Yeah. So I love that. Guys, you already hear in the comments in the film strip, so we're going to start taking your questions for the next 20 minutes. Bahimi, am I saying your name right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Can you hear? You can hear me?
Great. Go for it.
Hi, Bahimi.
Hi.
How are you?
I was at the Whole Foods shopping, and I'm listening to you on my phone. I gotta get home. I gotta get home.
All right. I love modern technology.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So traffic, of course, is a great concern for all of us. So I heard what you said about going to other marketers and who you go to, you do that pitch, they're potential affiliates, and you work that angle. What are maybe 3 or 4 other sources. I mean, like Facebook groups or LinkedIn.
Oh yeah.
I'm not looking, I'm looking for big, like you're saying, these marketers where I could get into new eyeballs, not just one by one person.
Sure.
So what are some other avenues?
Mike Hill, who's one of my closest friends in this business, he started Internet Marketing Super Friends, the Facebook group, and that's a free group for people to join. My group is a paid group because it's only for Accelerator members, which is what I decided to do on purpose because it's a closed community. But his is free, and they have some ungodly number of people, like 50,000 or whatever. But you can't go in there and say, hey, I'm looking to sell something. You can't do that. But you go in there and you just establish a presence in there, and it invariably turns into, hey, let me PM you about something. And somebody, I've gotten many sales to Accelerator, for example, without ever saying go buy Accelerator. It's just I just post in there and just people like the comments, right? So that's one great way to do it. Like you can just go on Facebook and just search for marketing communities. I think that's one of the best ones. I love that community. It's really a great group of guys. It is not the Warrior Forum. I mean, not to bash anyone who is on the Warrior Forum, but the Warrior Forum among a lot of guys out there is kind of considered the Drudge Report of internet marketing. I don't know how to say that, but yeah. So I like the guys who have a really positive, upbeat spin to things that still have great knowledge. So that's a great place to go for sure. And LinkedIn, yeah, LinkedIn is excellent. I don't know as much about LinkedIn as I should, but I do know people who use it and they get the same kind of results. So yeah, thanks. That's a great question.
Are there any other groups? I hear about Pine Crest or all these things where you tag or do things. In your arsenal, you probably don't need to do anything, but obviously, but is there anything else that we could do?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, is there? Absolutely. Am I the total end-all be-all expert on this? Absolutely not. I'm just telling you what's worked for me. But if you just concentrate on those three areas, I mean, I think it's really hard to go wrong, especially the affiliate building strategy. But if you want to go strictly online, yeah, I think Internet Marketing Super Friends is probably the best group out there. If you're a copywriter, there's a group called Cult to Copy ran by Colin Thera, which is fantastic. Colin's just a genius copywriter and you have to get over his abrasive, extremely sardonic sense of humor. But there's that's 10,000 copywriters strong, but that's strictly for copywriting and not marketing. Internet Marketing Super Friends is the one for marketing. So check that out. See what you think.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for coming back to us. All right.
If I may add, Google Plus is a great place. No, none of you are using it effectively yet, but the combination but the combination of Google Plus and YouTube and Hangouts, communities in Google Plus, if you put anything in a community, a public community in Google Plus, it shows up in search. So your articles, your sales letters, your blog posts can show up in search under communities that are on your topic. So, and because it's a Google entity, Google sees that first before they see anything else. They don't have access to Facebook algorithm or Twitter algorithm. So if you want to be found across the web, you might want to give Google Plus a try as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Right. I'm all about Google Plus.
What happened to John? He disappeared. Oh, here you are. I was like, what happened?
Here anymore. John has left, and I am in charge. My wife just got me. She knows I love monkeys, so she brings back monkeys wherever she travels. So this one is the one. So I just had to do that. So okay, next question.
Next question, Maureen.
Awesome.
Maureen?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, John.
Yay.
Hey, Maureen.
Hi.
John
Benson. So I have a product. Is he here? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I'm on camera.
I have a product already online, and it's selling. It's selling just a little.
Okay.
And I have a page that it's the beginning pages. It's not a high converting offer. And it's in the weight loss space for women. I have a coach, a couple coaches. I'm thinking that the next thing I need to do is really work on my copy, but I'm also wondering how important is it to have products that you can, stack these huge offers I'm seeing nowadays. Like they're huge, big packages for, $19. And so where do you stack like the copy versus the offer? You know, what do you think is the most important thing to do? And then do you go to affiliates first, or do you go like to the traffic that you're talking about today first?
I don't know that there's a first. If affiliates are willing to promote your offer, by all means, do that. I mean, it's just the easiest way to get traffic. Just be sure that you're capturing those leads somehow. Now, some affiliates right now, especially in today's climate, they're not too keen on sending to opt-in pages to get in, or certainly not squeeze pages. But if you just have any sort of like static email box on there, you'll capture 10 to 30% of them, especially if it's in a key place. That being said, I mean, and there's a really cool video sales letter technique that we use where you have a survey beside the video sales letter, and it doesn't stop the letter. So when you send traffic to it, you can get, hey, take this survey. Well, you know, what's your number one concern regarding this? And you send it in. This won't stop the video, and then it's a JavaScript program that does it. So anyway, a little side tip there. As far as I think what you're asking is you've got these people who are bundling lots of different like bonus products together. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I feel like that's where the market is right now, and I'm feeling like maybe my offer isn't big enough, you know, and is that why it's not converting, or is it the sales copy? Because I've had good people look at the copy, go, oh, that's fine, but yet I know it's not great. It's just the beginning, you know. I need to write that.
It's a sales copy. I mean, I go through it. There's a whole bonus formula that I talk about that talks about how to structure bonuses. But I mean, most of the stuff that I've written that converts really well has 3 bonuses. There is an adage out there. I want to say it was started by Dean Jackson, but I'm not sure. That said, the more bonuses that you offer up to a point, the more sales you make, and then it becomes counterproductive. So I don't think it's a question of quantity. I think it's a question of quality. So if your bonuses, and let me give you this tip just for bonus creation. Let your bonuses, like, ask yourself, what else is this product good for? For example, we just did a supplement, and I said, what else is this supplement good for? And the supplement had nothing to do, at least from the outside, you know, the first glance, had nothing to do with, like, for example, taking a test. But I realized that it had L-theanine in it, which is an amino acid that helps stimulate attention. It calms you down, and it also had L-tyrosine in it, which is the amino acid that stimulates attention. So I thought, hey, a calm, attentive mode, this might be really good for people that are about to take a test or have a big thing going on at work. And so I'd create this bonus around that. It's like, you know, the bonus around it is like, you know, how to use blank to ace your test, you know, make more money at work, or get a raise at work, and blah blah blah. So those were like unrelated completely to what the product was supposed to do, but the bonus was so compelling that you just kind of had to have it, right? And it's like, so if you do create bonuses, I just think about creating 3 strong bonuses that are so strong that you could sell them, and do sell them, by the way. Sell your bonuses. That's another strategy altogether. When people don't buy your first product, actually sell your bonuses. Send them an email and say, I told you this bonus was for sale. You can get it just by itself. Right. So that's a great way to just increase your revenue right there. But yeah, it sounds to me like if I was to look at your sales copy, I would probably say, yep, it's the copy. It's not the bonuses. I've written products that did really well with no bonuses at all. I mean, in fact, I use that as a selling point. So let me end this question by saying, and there's a great question, by the way, but let me end it by saying that you can turn every negative into a positive using clever copy. So I actually said, I remember something, it was something like, right about now it's about where you expect me to add on 16 other bonuses that you and I both know you will never look at because you are busy. So I'm not going to add anything on here except for one thing, a rapid fire cheat sheet, so that you can get this done even faster. That was it. So I turned it into a selling point.
Can you do that for me with my lack of a bunch of testimonials? Because I don't have a bunch of testimonials, and I know all these people have great testimonials. Do I just say, hey, I don't have testimonials, but, you know, here I am, I did it myself. I mean, how do you go about that? How do you make that a negative to the positive?
Yeah, all you need is 3. Not having testimonials is challenging. So unless here's the only way I've ever seen this work, is if you say like here's the result that I'm experiencing, and I'm looking for a select group of people to basically beta test. You wouldn't use the word beta test for a diet, but you get the idea. To basically go through like a case study with me, and because of that, I'm discounting the book where it's going to come out live for $47. I'm going to give it to you for $17, and that's just for being in my case study group. And I'll even follow up with you on group calls to make sure that everything's going right, and then I'll take your feedback, and we'll all make it even better. So that's a fantastic way to do it. So I know that works because we've done it once. But
yeah. And so that's even if I have the product going now, I can take it back and do it.
Well, guess what? I mean, what better way to get testimonials than to say, hey, join this for this massive discount, and all I ask is that you join our case study. So it's like your people will be, when I launched Accelerator, it was called VSL Generator back when I first launched it. I sold it for like probably a third of what it sells for now because it wasn't anywhere near ready. And I just told everybody, look, this is a beta. Things are going to break. Help me fix it. And people were just jumped all over it. They were thrilled. And then when they got the alpha, which was 3 years ago, they were like, man, rock on. This is awesome. So they helped make it better. So does that make sense to you? Does that work? Did I lose you?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Okay. Well, hopefully tell me if that worked. It's a really good strategy. So yeah, thanks. Take the next question. Yeah.
I know it works from personal experience, so yeah, it works. I know.
Okay.
Stefan, let me unmute you, my friend. I know we don't have your camera, but can you speak? Or Steven, maybe? Oh, chat. Okay, so we'll take your question in a second. Jimmy, do you want to jump in?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My question is, when you're building a list, there's a lot of autoresponders that you can choose from. And I've been exposed to Infusionsoft all the way down to for a shopping cart. What do you recommend, and when do you shift upwards into a more expensive autoresponder?
Yeah, that's a good advanced question. So let me see. How do I say this tactfully? Most of them completely suck donkey balls. They're horrible. Was that tactful? I mean, donkeys are okay, good. Okay, so for autoresponders, the simplest and cheapest way to go is Aweber. Right? But if you're talking about going to a CRM, because when you say one shopping cart and Infusionsoft, that's CRM stuff. Man, it's the lesser of all evils in that area. There's a new CRM coming out. A friend of mine, Brett Fogel, created it called Sidex, and I think it's in its second iteration now that very few people know about. I would check that out because when I first checked it out, it looked really good, except it didn't have an API that we could use because we use really advanced API calls. But for autoresponders, I use Maropost. It's a pay-to-play service. So in other words, we pay for each email that we send out, but the deliverability is really, really good, and it has more features than say Aweber. But if you're just starting off and you just need autoresponders, Aweber is by far and away the best way to go. Simple is better. So.
What if you have affiliates?
Yeah, affiliates. What would be the specific question?
Affiliates with the autoresponder too?
Yeah, what we did when I was on Aweber, we used their custom field, and then I had a programmer just tag and append like an affiliate ID, so we could see inside the list where it was sent. And we used ClickBank, which is the easiest way to do this. If you have a ClickBank product, you can easily track affiliate IDs without worrying about an autoresponder or a service like Infusionsoft at all. So Infusionsoft, if I had to be gun to the head choice, I would say Infusionsoft. I don't know for sure, because I haven't tested it, but I hear that the new version of what used to be Office Autopilot, which I didn't like at all, but the new version is supposedly much better, and that new version is called Entreport. But I don't know because I have not tested it. We built our own CRM, and I know that's not an answer that you guys want to hear, but most of you don't need a CRM out there, so I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, for simplicity's sake, I'd go with Aweber and then something like One Shopping Cart or Infusionsoft if you can deal with the confusion, because Infusionsoft is Confusionsoft. It is very confusing. Yeah, awesome. Thanks for the question.
All right.
So the question from Stefan is, can you describe the process from sales to VSL for you to put a squeeze page in front of your VSL? So I think this goes into day 5, 6, and 10, right? Where we go through how do we create the VSL funnel. Is that right?
No, that's not necessarily right. So I think what he's asking is, what's the process to go through to actually put a squeeze page in front of your VSL? If you're sending cold traffic or affiliate traffic, squeeze pages are just, they're kind of dead. I mean, there's just not a good use for them. So lander pages where there's an article before it that pre-sells, which we talked about, like I think it was on day 2, maybe day 1, where I went over like the format of sending people to an article-based page where there's 3 simple tips in an article, and then you click the button and then go to the video sales letter. That can be really effective, and then have an opt-in on the next page. The kind of thing. But for squeeze pages, they're pretty much dead. I mean, they used to be really, really hot, and most people I know won't send to them. Now, that being said, let me put a big, huge caveat to that. My friend Joel Marion owns BioTrust, and they're becoming one of the largest supplement companies in the world. And he happens to be a ruthlessly good marketer. And he co-owns it with Josh Bizzoni. And those 2 guys, we all know as marketers that if anyone can handle our lists, they can. So we will send to an opt-in page for their stuff because we know they're going to monetize it really well. They're going to take good care of the customers. They're going to give us lifetime affiliate commissions. So if you have that kind of reputation, yeah, you can get people to send to it. If you don't, I wouldn't send to a squeeze page. What I would send to is a page that exits out. So you get the page, and Google will have a problem with this, as Yafat will tell you. But if you send to a page off Facebook or something to this effect that has an exit splash that says, would you like to read this special report, you can go to a page and get an email first. And by the way, get the first name always. Don't buy into the nonsense about how you should only get an email address. Email addresses will increase your opt-in rate, but it radically decreases your sales. It radically decreases your sales because you cannot use that first name variable, and people will like to be called by their first name. So get the first name, get the email address, get that on an exit splash page that sends them to a special report, and then you can send them right back to the sales page.
Awesome. Orville, you are next. You want to turn on your camera and microphone? You see? Unmute yourself?
Yeah,
there we
got
go.
it.
Okay, go for it.
Hey.
All right.
So we can,
All right.
yeah, there you go. Hi.
Right. Awesome. Hey, I just want to say thank you.
Oh, you unmuted again. Someone unmuted you. So
All
unmute
right.
again. Yeah.
Okay, we got you. We got you
All right,
back.
yeah. Awesome. I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate you. This has been a way eye-opening experience. I'm really focusing on copywriting now as my business. I've been in it about 2 or 3 years, but my question is this. I've had a list of about 600 people, that were, older leads, and leads that I generated through Craigslist and some cheaper methods, so basically they're dead. I got about 600 people. What can I do to, get them either out of the list or buying?
Okay. Yeah, great question. I've got a great answer. It's not my own answer. It's Dean Jackson's answer. Dean Jackson is the Buddha of marketing. And do you know Dean? If you know Dean, you're going to know the answer to this one. And it works. It works so well that you might want to prepare to hire somebody. And that's his infamous 9-word email. And I'll just tell you guys what it is. I know Dean doesn't care if I share this because he shares it with everybody. So to resurrect dead leads on a list, send them a 9-word email, and this is very important that you've got, in my opinion, that you have the first name, because the subject line is the first name. It just says John. I mean, how many people get emails that just say Yafat or Kevin or whatever? Very few people get those emails, so your tendency is to open that, right? So the email says, are you still interested in natural weight loss? Dean. That's it. That's the entire email, and it forces them to respond with a yes, no, or they just ignore the email. So the response rate is through the roof. I mean, it's literally like 50 to 60%. And then you have to respond back in person and say, is there anything specific that I can help you with? So then you re-engage the list that way, and then you can say, hey, I'm having a workshop or a webinar. You might want to attend that. So it's a process. It's the process of
right, and I have that set up in the line. Now, one more question, one more quick question. Okay, so now I have a bunch of, or a few, like 30 new fresh leads. I've sent them 2 emails so far. The first 2 in my sequence. I just want to make sure that I could connect with them and make sure that I get value to them. So what I'm thinking about doing is maybe sending the third email, being a survey or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, surveys are awesome as long as you offer them a gift for going through the survey. So that's
okay.
Yeah. So people love to give you their opinion as long as it's like I just got I got a knee surgery about 10 days ago, and when I got out of the hospital, I actually did a webinar right before I went into the emergency room. It was like ridiculous. I took a picture of it. I had my knee up on it in a brace, and it's like, this is probably bad. I should probably go to the emergency room. So we did this free webinar, and then afterwards, like the next day, we go to the emergency room. It's like the doctor said, yeah, you could have lost your leg, dumbass. But yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know that it was an infection. So anyway, not to bore you with my knee story, but it's all good now. No crutches. But
That's awesome.
So yeah. But they sent me a survey, and this hospital was great. I answered the survey simply because the hospital was so great. But if they would have said, "Hey, answer the survey," and they will give me some like bonus, it would have been some. Obviously, a bonus for a hospital is harder to figure out. But for you, it's easy. For you, it's easy. I'll give you this free bonus just for giving me your opinion. Just please be as brutally honest as you can. And I use the phrase "brutally honest." Brutally honest. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. And we got a really.
Most definitely, man. I really appreciate y'all, and I mean,
welcome.
I haven't bought the accelerator yet, but I'm gonna buy it soon.
Oh yeah, you are. You're actually gonna buy it next week, I promise.
All right, I'm good.
Wait till you hear why. When you hear why, you're gonna go, okay, I should really do that. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try to generate enough cash flow to do it, so I'm going for it. I'm gonna do it.
It's the thing that generates the cash flow. It's the horse.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm with you.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.
And I've been watching your products for a while, and you know, I've been wanting it every time I've watched it, and you've really you've done a great job, and I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for joining me on Saturday.
I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be here.
And we have a young lady who says that her curry has arrived, and if it's Thai food, man, I totally get that. So bring her on so she can have the curry. Just let me know if it's red, green, or whatever, you know.
Hi there, John. Yeah, it's an Indian curry, a prawn danzak, actually. You know. Anyway, so thank you very much for all the great content. I absolutely love the 9-word email. Unbelievable. Yeah. Great, thank you. So I've got the website, and I'm just about to start creating some sales pages, and I've got several channels that I can push those sales pages to, but my question is, how can I get people to share those sales pages and make it go a bit more viral?
So virality is there's two components of it. Yafat knows a lot more about virality than I do. I just be honest with you, because I've never had to be concerned with social media that much. But I'm into it now because I'm a social person. I love to engage with people, and I was thinking, why not do this? Because it's like, I spent a long time of my career on camera and in front of people as a musician, as a fitness guy. So why not? Because it's kind of natural for me. So that's one way to do it, is do exactly what we're doing here. The best way, however, to get a viral spread, again, this is so important, is to get a killer hook. If you get a killer hook to your sales message, which we covered in day 1, people will spread it around. It's like End of America got spread around so virulently because of the hook. It's like, wow, you got to watch this. This is freaking scary. It's what people would send out, for example, or the skinny gene. It's like, have you heard of the skinny gene? This Harvard scientist thing got spread around because of the fact that the hook was so good. So I just emphasize that hook, man. Emphasize that hook. And if, of course, the copy is good and it tells a great story, it's just going to go crazy. So let me give you one more tip that's helped Andrea, my wife, really go viral. Is she's doing a lot of YouTube videos, and the YouTube video that went the most viral so far was she's kind of stumbled on it. She's a weight loss expert, and she used to be obese. And she went from obese to super fit. I don't know if you guys know my wife, Andrea Albright, or not, but and she just made the cover of a national magazine, a national fitness magazine, the second largest national fitness magazine in the world. She made the cover at 37 years old, by the way, and she looks stunning. Of course, I'm a little biased, but it was unbelievable. I mean, no one just goes out and does that. She just, yeah, thank you. She pulled it off. So, but what was interesting is that what went viral about that wasn't that, oh, she's on a cover of a magazine. It was this gut-wrenching, very revealing, a way revealing article that she wrote that just women went crazy for it, because she was just like, she dished her whole story. She was so vulnerable, and that's hard for her. And so when she was vulnerable like that, I was like, babe, it's just going to open up so many different avenues for people that can really, they look at you and they go, there's no way I can achieve that. They don't know that you've been through this stuff. And man, it opened the floodgates. So if you can be vulnerable to the point of even shooting a short video, like a 3 or 4 minute video, like keep it short, and just tell a little bit about the page that they're about to visit, and just send that out and go, look, if it was I grew up in a wet rolled up newspaper on the side of the sidewalk, to quote Monty Python. But whatever the story is that's extremely emotionally charged, yeah, you'll do great. So try that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Elaine. Enjoy the query.
Will do.
Yeah.
Timothy, you're next. Let me see. There you go. Go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
We got you.
All right, so here's my question, John. What I'm looking to do is to get people to a paid consultation with me. This is in the health space. So what I want to do is, and I want that process automated up until I get on the phone and say, hey, John, let's talk about, X. So yesterday you mentioned something about video sales letters versus webinars. So I'm kind of confused on how I want to set this up. I think it does require a little bit of education. So I'm looking at the leader page that you talked about. So I guess that's my question. Do I want to get people to a webinar? Do I want to use a video sales letter to sell them on the idea that, yes, they should, click on PayPal, pay for a consultation, and get on the phone with me?
So you're charging, I just want to understand, you want to charge X amount of money for a consultation to get on the phone with you, right?
Correct. I want it to be a paid consultation.
Okay. So in that case, what I would use is I would use a webinar, but I would use it's the same exact formula. It's the same 5-step formula. So when people ask me, well, do you have a webinar formula? It's like, yeah, it's the VSL formula. It's the same thing. I mean, the best webinars that we've done follow those 5 steps. So it's the same thing. The only difference is, instead of reading it like in having every word on the screen, you would read it with like a graphic, and then you would improvise around some of the script, and you would take dialogue back and forth. And it's really the only difference is that inside key points you say, I'm going to stop right here. Does this make sense to you? Does everyone say yes if this makes sense to you? So you got to get a lot of agreements as you go along in a webinar. Because a webinar, unlike a video sales letter, on a video sales letter, most people are just kind of staring at the screen and they're watching. A webinar, people are like, they're texting, they're looking around, their dog comes up, and they're not as attentive. So you have to engage them all the time. Every couple of minutes, say, hey, does that make sense? Raise your hand right now if it makes sense, even if you don't raise your hand and I can never see it. And you just get people to do something, right? That's a huge thing. And so I would use the same exact strategy. And then, as a secondary thing, send people to a 20-minute version of my VSL formula. That's inside Accelerator, by the way. So it's a shorter version of it that just says, and this is what I would say. It's like, I'm going to tell you exactly why you need to consult with me. Because right off the bat, it's like just say, look, this is a 20-minute, this short presentation to tell you why you need to consult with me. Because it deals with X, and whatever X is has to be something very pressing that is key. So let me give you just a brutally blunt example of this. If I would have stumbled on somebody that would have said, look, if you're suffering through intense knee pain and no one can figure out what it is, you need to do a consult with me. Do you think that I would have thought twice about it? I would have just give me the buy button right now, right? Because that's exactly what was happening with me. So the more targeted that you can make that, the more specific that you can make that, even the better. So let me just leave you with one more tip. If you've got 5 areas of specialties, 5 things or whatever that you are really good at, or take the top 5 and make 5 different videos that focus on just that one thing. That's been the most difficult thing that one of my customers, for them to overcome, because they've got a product that they really do believe cures cancer, but they also believe it cures other things too. And you can't use the word cure, so I'm speaking euphemistically here. I hope you don't mind. But they're very keen on this for cancer and for every other disease. And their original sales letter was like, do you have cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, heart disease, da-da-da, in a sense to gather as many people as possible. And we stripped that all away and said, no, just talk about cancer.
Condition specific.
As if that's, yeah. So that's what I would advise you to do. Just talk about X. Then in the next video, just talk about Y.
So the webinar, though, still requires manual labor. So should I just...
No, it can be automated.
So obviously do it live till I get the control, and then just replay that, and either or coming on doing questions at the end, which I know is what some guys are doing now. They run the replay, they come on live and do questions at the end, but I could still probably knock that part off and just get a webinar that's working.
Yeah. I'll say this, and we're getting tight on time. You've had, not that I'm enjoying the conversation, especially medical, because I always went to med school. I'd love to talk to you about this, but here's what I would do, and this is such a samurai technique. Do a live webinar until it's just down, until you have it down, and it's fun, by the way. You'll get a lot of interaction. When you get the one that really, really rocks down, obviously you have it recorded. Then just hit record, and then instead of you coming on to do the question and answers, have a nurse. Have someone that's an RN. In this case, I would have it be a nurse. In my case, I would have it to be like one of my marketing team come on and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I work for Jon, I'm going to answer your questions right now, because it positions you even that much more as the expert. I'm really way over here, and not in a bad way, in a good way. Like, I really want to reach up and touch the hem of the garment, so to say. So that's a way you can completely automate this process after you get it going.
Now, I know you want to go. I'm sorry. Should I drive them to a free webinar?
I think so. Yeah, until you get it going. Yeah, for sure. Because your goal is to close the sale. So yeah, free is always better.
Thank you, Jon.
Hey, thank you.
Awesome questions. Just see. Okay. And then Eric, you are next. Let me unmute you. Hold on a second.
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes. Welcome.
Perfect. Thank you for having me. Jon, I wanted to ask you if you can explain kind of a pricing model in terms of offering like copywriting skills. I'm a 3X Accelerator member, and you touched on it a little bit earlier, but I'd love if you can maybe explain to us how we can do that. I'm going into the local marketing, and I have some people that are helping with that process, but as I'm listening to you, I think it would be a great service to be able to offer copywriting to. Most of my background is from real estate, commercial, and residential. So I'm wanting to service that niche initially and then expand out from there. But I would love it if you can explain how you would talk about pricing, copywriting service.
Sure. Well, I can do this. I actually make it really succinct, because we've gotten 4 or 5 different people, all of them Accelerator members, all of them copywriters, which is, I'll be honest with you, 90% of our members are just business owners. And it was like copywriters coming out of the woodworks. I had a high-end copywriting certification course that we taught in my house last year, and we ended up with 20 people here. And it was very expensive to go through it, but they all ended up with a lot of work, and they all ended up making good money. So I decided, literally this week, it's like after seeing all this stuff come in, that I'm going to do a free workshop for you guys, for the Accelerator members who want to turn copywriter. And even if you're a business owner and you just want to supplement your income with copywriting, how do you use Accelerator to do this? Now, let me give you the bad news first. The bad news is that we are going to a model in February where we actually start. It's actually a licensee model. So in other words, if you use the copywriting coming out of there, it's a licensee fee for it. That's more expensive than the Accelerator. For all existing members, you guys are in the clear. So if you get this before February, it's very, very important. So good on you, right? But I want to do this webinar for free, and I'm pulling in one of my good friends, Jon. His name's just Jon, and Jon just landed one of the top copywriting positions at Agora Publishing. He's a badass, and he's a member of the Accelerator team. He's a member, he's a customer through Accelerator, and he's also in the mastermind. So he and I are going to do the workshop together and talk to you guys and say, here's how you can supplement your income with copywriting. And because I'm actually not the guy to ask. I didn't start off to be a copywriter, and when I ended up being famous, sort of, for creating video sales letters, everyone came to me and said, hey, would you write this? Now, that's not a problem a lot of guys face. Jon, on the other hand, is the exact opposite. He started from nothing and became a copywriter, and now he's landed this dream position for him. So between the two of us, we're going to be able to help you guys figure that out, and obviously using the Accelerator as the tool. So look for an email from me on that. It's going to happen probably mid-February. So that will answer all your questions.
Awesome, man. Love it. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome.
Great hangouts too, by the way.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate it, man. Awesome.
So we are 10 minutes behind. The winner, of our comment competition will be announced in an email, because we need to read all of them and choose the best one. So look for our email today with the winner and how to receive 6 ways to monetize your Hangouts. Tomorrow, Jon, we are talking about, you remember, or is it me? I need to remember. It's coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow we are talking about, let me
Breaking
see.
free from your day job, man. How to supplement your income. Yeah, how to use copywriting to supplement your income. In fact, the gentleman that just came on, I'm sorry there were so many names, and I'm usually
Eric.
bad with names, but I'm really bad with names when it comes to this. Eric, yeah, Eric. I was going to say Eric, and so I'm glad that I kind of got it right. Apologies, Eric. But yeah, Eric, this is going to be good for you. It's not going to go into depth as far as like the kind of stuff that we would do on the other workshop, but yeah, we're going to talk about like how to get your first sale using copywriting, not selling copywriting, but how to use copywriting to get that first sale. And it's going to focus on a very low dollar product. And I'm going to give you the little formula that I use to create low dollar products. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. So show up tomorrow.
Awesome. So thank you guys for the great questions. If you missed anything in the worksheet, you can just watch the replay of the Hangout and you'll get all that information again. If you do the homeworks, this is actually building on top of each other. So Jon is giving you excellent content every day. If you just pile it up and every day do one little thing, by the end of this Hangathon, you will have a product that you can actually take and start making money right now. Make your first dollar. So tomorrow is how do you break free? Make your first dollar online. The next day is 30 days, what you need to do for every day. So join us. Love having you. Thank you, Jon, again for an awesome, awesome Hangout.
Thank you, Yafat. Appreciate it, man. See you guys. Thanks a lot for joining me on Saturday.